Happy Thursday. You're part of the car again, getting ready for data science. Gosh, this streaming stuff harder than it looks, right? Okay, but the whole purpose of me is to try to get if there's so thanks for joining and try to make the Thursdays, Saturdays. Um, I'm having a lot of that one. Did this, but I think I had a good time on. We're gonna continue. At least Denelson, I just saw your comments. And that's when I realized, hey, I don't have my microphone in front of me. Oh my God. Believe it or not, guys, I have been streaming for over a year now. And I still forget the basics of, hey, maybe you need a microphone in front of you, Dennis. Thank you, Denelson. I appreciate that feedback in the comments there. How embarrassing, guys. How embarrassing. All right. So as I was saying, the whole purpose of me streaming right now during this time is for the next 100 days, I'm trying to launch a data science school. I'm building the data science school in public with your help. And I want you to be able to have feedback and give me ideas on what you want to see in the school. Now, obviously, I have ideas of my own, but I think it's important to build in public and be transparent about what you're going to provide. And let's see also if there's enough interest to get the school off the ground, because I'd like to get a certain number of founding members that are willing to join and help out. But we'll see what happens here. So if you're over on Instagram or on YouTube, please feel free to say hello. Denelson, I already see you over there. Denelson says, good morning, Sir Dennis. How's everyone's week been? Week is going well, Denelson, in spite of me in spite of me not being very smart with my microphone management here. The week is going well. Thank you so much. Yeah, speaking of microphones, actually, I just made a post. So speaking of microphones, I am going to be hosting my first giveaway ever. I'm not a big fan of giveaways, but I won this contest that YouTube held last month among the creators. And I won, and the prize was this microphone. And I thought, oh, that's a cool prize, but I already like my microphones. So I'm going to do this as a giveaway. So I've already posted on my Instagram and on my YouTube. Go check that out. But this is going to go to one of you. I want people to send me contest ideas. What are some good contest ideas that we can have? I'm going to take contest ideas between now and Sunday, and then I'll run the contest, and then the winner of that will get the microphone. So I think it'll be fun. Yeah, so YouTube, it has entered me in like these contests and these like creator collectives and these boot camps that they do. So it's pretty cool. and they run these, like, challenges or things like that. And I won one of them last week. Part of their vertical live boot camp. So they sent me this nice little note. So if you're interested in that, if you have a good contest idea that would be fun for the community, let me know. I think it'll be fun to do. It's a really nice microphone. I think on Amazon the microphone sells for like $70 or something like that. So I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun to do. So if you're just joining us, feel free to say hello. Let me know what you're up to. Let me know how things are going in your life, and we'll switch over to the school, the classroom view, so you can see what I have going on with the school and see what other ideas we can add to the curriculum list. We've been having some pretty good feedback on the topics and classes that people want to see. So now I'm going to start building that out. Is it Anjal? Or maybe Anja? Anja says, "Hey Dennis, for some reason I can't hear you." First of all, thanks for joining. Over on Instagram, it's usually a local volume issue. So you might want to try putting the volume up on your phone locally. Sometimes that happens to people on Instagram. But I think, from what I can see, my microphone is working on my end. So if anybody else wants to confirm, like on YouTube, that they can hear me. But Angel, I think it's Angel, on Instagram, it's usually just pressing the volume button on your phone, okay? Okay. Is it Rudaprat? Rudaprat says it's audible for me on Instagram. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, usually on Instagram, it's just like a local issue. For some reason, the Instagram feeds have a problem with that. By default, it's like a low volume or something like that. But thanks for that feedback, Rudaprat. I think it's your first time here. So welcome. If you want to introduce yourself, let us know a little bit about you. You're more than welcome to. But thanks for joining. It's really nice to see a consistent group of new people joining the chat, or joining from YouTube, joining from Instagram. I'm fortunate that my channels are still growing. And yeah, just looking forward to getting more feedback from you guys on the Data Science School, or attending on Sundays for the Neural Network series. Like I said, this past Sunday, Denelson, I know that you were there. We had a really good time with the basically with the coding side of neural networks. And it gave us an opportunity to look at the code, but then also be able to look at some of the results and what the results mean in kind of real world terms, right? And result interpretation is a super, super important part of data science, right? If you can't interpret your results, then what good is anything you've done, right? So really happy that we were able to do that on Sunday. We're going to continue that again this Sunday. So you're welcome to join if you'd like. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over. Actually, there's one more thing I want to do. I want to put in my pinned comment over on Instagram. So give me just a second. All right, so over on Instagram and on YouTube, you guys, in your chat, you should have a pinned comment that lets you know how to sign up for the Data Science School. Speaking of signups, it's Manoj. Hey, Manoj. Hello, Manoj from Bangalore, India. Manoj, so good to see you. Hope that you're doing well. Hope everything is good out there in Bangalore. Nice to see you here, my friend. So let me switch over to the classroom view. And if you go to school.datasciencewithdennis.com, this is the homepage that you'll be presented with. And this is where you can see, one, you can see the registration button. Or two, you can also see the different courses that I'm putting together. I'm putting together some of the basics for the entire school, the basics for numbers in general, and then my data science items, some statistics, some machine learning, and then in red are more the management items. And then down here, we have a bunch of the other ones that people have suggested. We talked about having something on foundational models, on computer vision, on having different project challenges. So all this stuff has come from you guys and all the conversations that we've had. So I'm really happy about that. I'm really glad that we're able to do that. So let's go back and let's continue by looking at our curriculum list, because this is the curriculum list that we've been working with so far. And I think we have a pretty good view into the high level of the curriculum. Over on Instagram, Snitch Seeker 98 says hi. Hey, Seeker, it's good to see you. What a name. Snitch Seeker 98. If you want to give us the background on that name, that's an interesting selection for a name. I'm pretty sure it's your first time. I would remember a name like that. So let me know how you're doing. Say hello. Feel free to introduce yourself or whatever you'd like. But good to see you here. Yeah, what a name. What a name. All right. So as I was saying, this is the curriculum. And we've also been adding some of the different topics that I want to talk about, right? So if you see something in here where you say, oh, I really think we should include this in basics of analytics or whatnot, feel free to let me know, okay? But I really want to start building out some of these items. You can see here, like in the advanced statistics, we've already been filling out inferential, ANOVA, A/B testing, p-values, t-testing, z-testing, and regression models. And actually, you'll note, for those of you that attended before, I actually added ANOVA on my own over the weekend. I was driving in my car, and I thought to myself, wait a minute, how can I not talk about ANOVA in that course? You have to do that, right? So guys, for extra credit, go ahead in the chat. Tell me what does ANOVA stand for? Who wants to take a shot at that? If you don't know what ANOVA stands for, you might not be ready for data science. Fairly critical. Okay, so Snitch says Potterhead, sir. That's why. Okay. Oh, it's a Harry Potter reference. Is that what you're saying? I'm not familiar with the Harry Potter books. I never got into those. So, is that what it is? The Neverworld from Twitch. Hello, Twitch says hi. My name is Neo, and I'm from the Matrix. Well, welcome, Neo. Hope you're doing well. The Neverworld says a space object. Is ANOVA a space object? Let us know in the chat. So guys, the question in front of the chat right now is, what does ANOVA stand for? Let me know, guys. Snitch says ANOVA is a variance test. Manoj says analysis of variance. Okay. So Manoj is giving us the correct name, the definition. It does stand for analysis of variance. ANOVA is a variance test. Yeah, sure. So Manoj or Snitch, if you guys want to kind of put in the chat an example or your deeper explanation of what it is. I think it'd be fun. And by the way, guys, like I said, you don't have to call yourself out. You don't have to say anything. But if you don't know what ANOVA is, that's another one of those good, like, little litmus tests. But if you don't know what ANOVA is or aren't comfortable explaining it, then you might not be ready for data scientist interviews. Okay? Snitch says works on the law of total variance. Okay, so tell us more, Snitch. Or Manoj, if you want to tell us more, let me know more. But it's a good one, right? Like, I can't believe that we didn't have that before. But ANOVA's a section on ANOVA is definitely kind of critical to understanding statistics. At least I think so. At least the advanced statistics part. Okay, so in the machine learning section, the machine learning course is probably going to be the largest course. That one's going to take me a long time to write. It's going to take a massive investment on my part to write that. So, is there anything else in here that you guys want to think about for machine learning? Because I came up with one. And the one that I came up with is, what do you guys think about this? I can't believe we forgot this one. But I would like to talk about cross-validation right from the beginning in a machine learning course. What do you guys think? Because you guys know that I'm a big fan of the data science series that we did, right? Introduction to Statistical Learning. Big fan of that book. That book has long been considered a very a quality textbook in most data science programs, right? I just wish that it had a better explanation of cross-validation a lot earlier in the book. I think it introduces it a little bit too late in the book. The Neverworld says, is it like cross-pollination? Okay, good question. Chat, what do you guys think? Is cross-validation like cross-pollination? So let's help out Neo here. What do you guys think? Are they the same? Or somebody just wants to give their definition on cross-validation? Right? Anybody want to take that on? Yeah, Denelson says, how did we miss that? We always talk about it on Sundays. Yeah, Denelson, I completely agree. Again, one of those things where I was just driving, because, I love driving because it makes you think a lot about, different things. I let my mind wander. And I realized, wait a minute, what about cross-validation? I really want to talk about that. So yeah, Denelson, none of us saw it. I guess we fell into a little bit of groupthink, right? In groupthink, you kind of miss things. But I definitely want to have, I have to have a section on cross-validation. But I want to do it earlier. Snitch says, I think cross-validation is quite important. Yeah, it is, Snitch. So to the chat's credit, we've been doing a great job of coming up with different topics. But for some reason, cross-validation never came up. Denelson says, I don't think I've heard about cross-pollination. Yeah, but let's help out Neo over on Twitch. Is it like cross-pollination? Let me know, guys. Snitch says, we split the data into groups and analyze the variance. For example, features of a dog breed by dividing it into certain factors and analyzing variances. Okay, so Snitch is offering a definition for ANOVA. And generally speaking, I think I'm on board with that definition. So I think you're on the right track there, Snitch. So do you want to try cross-validation? Does anybody want to try cross-validation? I want to hear what you guys think about cross-validation, and then I'll tell you guys how I explain it to my executives. To my executive clients, I have a completely different way of explaining it, right? Denelson says, what about videos that go over how to write reports and white papers on the projects you complete? Ooh. Yeah, okay, Denelson. Let's find a place for that today. Manoj says, determine whether there are significant differences between the means of 3 or more independent groups. Okay, Manoj again offering up the ANOVA. Yeah, I'm on board with that, Manoj. I think you're on the right track there too. So guys, think about the definition for cross-validation, then I'll give you the definition I give to my executive clients. Okay, so Denelson says, what about videos that go over how to write reports and white papers on the projects you complete? So, very important. What do you think about that being included in the data science project deployment section, Denelson? I think we can include it there. Yeah, I think that makes sense. What do you think about this? Let me know, Denelson. Manoj says, agree with cross-validation, which deals with overfitting. Does that deal with overfitting? Would an executive that is sitting in your presentation know what you mean by overfitting? Let me know, guys. So again, the question in front of the chat, we're trying to help out our new friend on Twitch. What is cross-validation? Is it like cross-pollination? Go ahead and put your answers in the chat when you have a chance. And like I said, guys, if you're looking for other things, other ideas you want to come up with, I'm looking for ideas on a contest that we can run so that I can give away this Wave Neo microphone. So that's on my Instagram and on my YouTube. If you want to go there, give me your contest ideas. I'm taking contest idea from now till Sunday, and then I'll run the contest next week. But somebody is going to win this microphone. Denelson says, cross-validation is when different chunks of data are used to train different models, and then we aggregate the performance to get a robust model. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's a good definition. Anybody else? Denelson says, I think project deployment is a great place for the white paper videos. Yeah, I think so too, Denelson. I think that's where it makes sense for me. Yeah, maybe that's subject to change, but for right now, it feels pretty good. Yeah. So guys, if you're hanging out over on YouTube, let us know. Feel free to say hello. Let us know where you're from, or just say hi if you'd like. But it'd be you're welcome to kind of contribute as much as you'd like. All right, so let's keep on looking at the curriculum list while you guys think about the cross-validation section. So I definitely wanted cross-validation question, I should say. I definitely wanted to add that machine learning. What else do I want to add in machine learning? Classification models, predictive models, time series models, predictive. Actually, I think I want to move these up. I have to talk about these before I talk about any specific models. That makes sense. Felipe, I think you've been here before, but it's been a while, hasn't it? Have you been here before? I think you have. Good to see you. Welcome back. Felipe says cross-validation is a way of testing different model hyperparameters in order to get the best tuned models. Ooh, Felipe, I'm not sure if I'm on board with that one. Felipe, how does that differ from like hyperparameter tuning though? Like what you're describing is very important, right? It's an important process. But what you're describing feels a lot more like hyperparameter tuning than it does cross-validation. What do you guys think? It feels like hyperparameter tuning that you're describing there. What do you guys think? Okay, so we were looking at the machine learning side. I want to talk about the training cycles and predictive cycles. That's something that's nowhere near talked about enough in school, right? In school, you're mostly just focused on training. You get one answer, you hand it in, and then you're done. But being able to break out your training and your predictive side, that's really, really important. Time series models, model metrics, mixed models, and the pitfalls of machine learning. Okay, I like that. Neural networks. I think I like where that's going. And then we also have this continuing education section. That's amazing that that's going to be its own course. But basically, it's how do you keep up with all of your items as a data scientist, right? How do you keep on developing your skills as a data scientist as you go on and you go to grow your career? That's not always an easy thing, right? And actually, I just realized, what do you guys think about something about conferences? Because, there's been a lot of AI conferences that have popped up in the last year, and I think that trend is going to continue, right? And you're going to start to see tech conferences that convert themselves into AI conferences or have a more of an AI focus to them. So I've been to a lot of conferences this year, and I think that and also this year and also in my lifetime, right? But I think that there is a certain art to attending conferences. So maybe I'll do a little section on that, on how to get the most out of conferences. That could be fun. That could be fun to do. A little bit of a unique thing, right? Okay, what else is there? So from there, we go into my data science for executive section, and this is more about where I want to create stuff for my leaders, right? So data science project planning, what's a data science project, some capacity planning and some resource planning. And then we're going to have something on project deployment, on model maintenance, model review, white paper creation documentation, which we just added today. Stakeholder management, that in itself could be an entire course, but I'm going to attempt it as a little subsection. Oh, wait, is that its own course? No, that is its own course. Excuse me. And then soft skills for data science, and then ethical data science practice, which also is something that came out of our conversations on this chat, which I think will be fun. Denelson says, maybe also a small resource page on conferences that happen throughout the year, just a small resource page. Okay. So maybe down here, Denelson. Well, no, that would be its own course, right? So I think it'd have to be up here. Yeah. How about we'll call it a key conference calendar? So I'll make it a subsection to attending conferences there, Denelson. I think it makes sense there. So guys, if you haven't signed up for my data science school, I'm looking for 1,000 founding members. The links to join are in the chats, so please join up. Show your support. I really want to get this school off the ground. If I don't get the people I need by August 1st, then I simply won't open. The idea just isn't viable. So please sign up. Sign up, right away. Don't wait until August 1st. And then we'll see, hopefully, I'm going to stay optimistic that we get enough people to get off the ground, but I'm really trying to make this a success, and your early support helps a lot. Okay. All right. So we were down here at ethical data science practice, and then that brings us to AI for data science. Foundational models, huge course. Fine tuning models, another huge course. And then agents for business, that should be an interesting course to add. Some of these courses, guys, I'm not sure if I'm going to have like available on day one. I'm going to do my best to have as many of these available on day one. But something like agents for business is something that I would probably deprioritize, just because it's probably not as critical for a learning path as some of these other courses, right? So keep that in mind, but there's a lot of work ahead of me to put these courses together. I think I can do it. I think I'm going to have a very solid set of courses ready by August 1st. But again, please show your support. Please sign up early. I know some of you in the chat have already signed up, like Manoj and Denelson. Thank you so much for that. But if you haven't signed up, please click on the link in the chats, in your pinned chats, or the pinned messages in your chats, and you can find the sign up link there. All right. So after that, we're talking about our data science specialties. NLP as a specialty, or, well, NLP has to be broken up into two, right? Into basic and advanced NLP. And then from there, we're going to do something on computer vision and then also on signal processing. Both of these two are very challenging. Computer vision and signal processing, very, very challenging. So we'll see where we end up with those, but I think that they could be some very, very good additions. And a lot of people have an interest in those, right? A lot of people have an interest in CV as a specialty for their entire careers. So that could be fun to do. And then finally, we're going to have a general section on data science resources where we have some project ideas where I will present some data for open use, because again, I do want to discourage people from just randomly scraping data, because, you know, that's not always intellectually honest. And then maybe we can talk about some project challenges, right? It'd be nice to come up with some sort of a capstone project that people can do. I think that those types of capstone projects are pretty beneficial for measuring your progress. And maybe that's one of the things I've been toying about in my head, about if I could have like these, like what are they called? Like milestone checks or milestone challenges, right? Like I told you guys, if you have trouble knowing what ANOVA is, that's a sign, right? So can I develop some of those things of, if you know this, go ahead and continue. If you're having trouble with this, then then you shouldn't continue, right? So I'd like to do that for some of those project challenges where if you can do this, big project, then you're probably okay. And I say that because I had that in some of my studies. I remember that for one of my courses, the capstone project, for the entire semester was that we were given a data set and we had to run it through 13 different models, and we didn't know anything about the data set. Like, the data set was completely blind to us, right? So that to me served as a really good test of like, hey, I kind of know this stuff, right? So maybe I'll do something like that. All right, so Felipe is returning to our question, guys. What is cross-validation? Felipe is offering up cross-validation splits your data a number of times that you specify, then it tests your model across all the split sets. This can then show what the optional hyperparameters are for a given model. Okay. So Felipe, I don't know if you were here when we mentioned that. So I'm kind of on board with this, but here's the other challenge though. How do you explain this to an executive, right? If you gave this answer to an executive, like, you've lost them, right? They stop listening as soon as you started, right? So that's the other challenge here, guys, right? How do you convey this in kind of in plain terms for cross-validation? And also, again, we're trying to help our friend over on Twitch because I think they're a little confused about cross-pollination and cross-validation. So you got to be able to also explain it in normal terms, right? So Denelson says, DevOps for the section about specialties. That's a good one, Denelson. A DevOps. Well, I guess it's called MLOps, right? For data science specialty. I think it's better under the resources, or maybe, you know what? No, maybe it's under project deployment again. I think it might be here under project deployment. Here's the challenge, Dennis, and for anybody else in the chat interested, because I do get a good number of questions on ML ops. The challenge is that there's no one single way to do ML ops. Every organization does it differently. And sometimes it'll be part of the data science team, other times it won't. Other times it'll just be like the traditional DevOps team doing it. In other situations, there is no need for that breakout because you're just deploying your algorithms like you would any other library or any other piece of code in your organization, right? Because you got to remember, Python is used for a lot of things. Python is not exclusive to data science, right? So if you're working on a piece of code, on an algorithm, right, a Python algorithm, and you write it as a class and you're using object-oriented code and things like that, your deployment may be to just give your class to another team and, help them with some documentation and just kind of like be their tech support. But to that team, they don't care that it's an algorithm. They just need to know what the method call is and what to expect back, right? So is that ML ops? Maybe, maybe not, right? That's just deploying the project, right? So a lot of companies take that view where, like we're not doing anything special. Others will have a dedicated ML ops team, but a lot of companies just say, it's just another library. It's just another class that we're implementing. It's just another API that we're calling, right? Or, if you are writing an algorithm and then you want to develop an API endpoint for it, well, the way you're going to develop the API endpoint is the same as in any other project that you've done, right? So I'll keep it on the list, Denelson, but I think that ML ops is way overblown in social media or by what people think it is. It's nowhere near as complicated or dedicated or strict as some people lead you to believe on social media. So let me know what you guys think about that. But yeah, I mean, in some organizations, ML ops just isn't really like a thing, right? Snitch Seeker says, I want to enroll in this course. Hey, well, thank you so much, Snitch. If you look in your Instagram, in the pinned comments, you're going to find the link to sign up. So feel free to use that link. Sign up today. I'm trying to get 1,000 founding members. We are approaching 35 signups, which is great. I'm going to remain encouraged and optimistic because of that number. But feel free to sign up today. Manoj says, agree with you. Oh, thanks, Manoj. I think you're referring to the ML ops comment. Let me know which comment you were referring to. Neo says, I use Python on the Raspberry Pi. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, the Raspberry Pi is, I'm not sure how many people realize that the Raspberry Pi was a lot of people's first introduction to Python, right? Lots of people out there that used Python for the first time on the Raspberry Pi. And speaking of the Raspberry Pi, we have at least 2 more weeks of the neural networks this Sunday and at least 1 more Sunday. Maybe 2 more Sundays after this Sunday. I don't know. But after that, my next series is going to be on robotics. We had a request for robotics. And I think I'm going to use the Raspberry Pi. I haven't figured out every single aspect of that one yet. But I think I'm going to do something with the Raspberry Pi and a short series on robotics. I think that could be fun. Yeah. So if you guys want to learn more about that, feel free to keep on coming back on Sundays. I'm just going to keep on coming up with good series to talk about on those days. Manoj says, yes, ML ops. Yeah, thanks, Manoj. Yeah, so like I said, guys, don't believe everything you read on social media. There's a lot of idiot influencers out there that have never really worked a day in their lives. So I think that it's so much more overblown than what people think it is. It's not nearly as important or critical or different, right? I guess is really what is really the key. It's not really as different as people think it is from just regular old DevOps, right? I mean, one of the things I've always told my executives and I tell my teams is that the deeper you go into a data science project, the more it converges on just another standard class or another standard library, right? Like the closer you get to deployment, the more your average like non-data scientist, like traditional coder should be able to understand how to work with you. Because at that point, it's just a class, right? A class and it's a collection of methods. So you should be able to just kind of hand over that class, and another traditional developer just says, okay, well, what are the methods I need, and what am I expecting back from those methods? And like, it's super easy, right? So yeah, I mean, MLOps really isn't like it's not like some dedicated department in every company. Neo says, awesome. I am using it to fly my drone to map markers on Google Maps. The issue I have right now is collision avoidance. Okay, cool. Yeah, that sounds like a very good usage of a Raspberry Pi for that, right? It's small, it's low battery consumption, so good idea. Manoj says, woo. Is that Manoj? Is that you imitating a drone or what? Speaking of drones, right? And maybe Neo, you have some insight into this. I'm always fascinated by everybody saying, oh, we're going to have drone delivery. We're going to have Walmart sending us stuff. We're going to have Amazon sending us stuff. I have yet to have a drone delivery. I've never seen a drone delivery. I've never been offered a drone delivery. Where are the drones? Where are the drones? Everybody is saying that's the next big thing. I haven't seen it. I don't know anybody who's gotten a drone delivery. I don't see them in my neighborhood. Like, I don't get it. I think that the technology must be more complex than most people realize, and maybe maybe collision detection is one of them, or collision avoidance. But where are the drones? Where's the drones, Amazon? I just don't see them as something that's like real. But you guys can tell me, maybe I'm wrong. All right, guys. So where were we? We were down here in MLOps. We added the MLOps. Stakeholder management, soft skills for data science. Guys, I created an amazing meme this week about the soft skills for data science. I was laughing my butt off when I made that meme, and nobody on Instagram watched it. It got good views on YouTube for some reason. But I deployed that and I thought this is going to do like 100 likes because I thought it was so hilarious. And nobody liked it. Nobody liked it. But soft skills, super important for data science. And guys, again, this is a good measure. If you can't explain cross-validation in normal terms, that's gonna put a limit on your career. But if you can explain it in normal terms, that is what gives you that soft skills, right? That is what leads to that, because now people can relate to you. Now you're not just the guy who talks with big words and makes me feel dumb. Now you're approachable. Now you're somebody who's gonna, people are gonna reach out to you with questions because they know you're gonna give them a good answer that they can understand. Now you're the person they come to when they have ideas, right? When a business person has an ideas for the algorithm, they don't go talk to the math PhD. The math PhD makes them feel dumb. They go talk to the person with the soft skills, right? They're the ones that get all the good ideas, right? So that's going to be an interesting one to put together. And I think people will get a lot out of it, right? That one is also going to be dependent on your own willingness to practice and be willing to kind of change your approach and change your ways, right? A lot of people are set in their ways of how they want to talk or present or express themselves. So being able to change that is definitely critical for soft skills. Neo says, I think everyone needs a delivery drone at home that can go out on missions. Okay. You know, and that's all fine and good, but let's just start with the big guys. Like, where are my big Amazon drones, right? Like, why does Amazon still have trucks on the road when you keep on hearing about the benefits they're going to gain from the drones? Like, let me know in the chat. Like, have you ever received a drone delivery? Like, I'm willing to acknowledge that maybe I'm alone in this, right? And you know, sample size of 1. I'm giving anecdotal evidence. I get it. But what do you guys think? Have you guys ever gotten a drone delivery? Do you know anybody who's gotten a drone delivery? I don't. Where are the drones? Right? It's like a modern Fermi. It's a Fermi paradox, right? Yeah, I think it's a Fermi paradox. Yeah, right? Where are these drones? Like, where are the drones? Our sky should be filled with the drones, right? Neo says, I haven't. This is why I'm working on this. Okay, well, maybe Neo is identifying an opportunity, right? Like if you're saying, hey, I've identified this opportunity because I don't see it happening. Good for you. Good for you. That's a good approach, right? But yeah, guys, let me know in the chat. Where are the drones? Have you gotten a drone delivery? Like, everybody says how this is the future and, you know, drones are affordable, and it's going to be ubiquitous and blah, 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 blah. But where are the drones? Manoj says, K-fold cross-validations folds a dataset and tests the accuracy on a particular fold. Okay. Not a terrible answer, but probably not something that an executive is going to understand, right? They're going to take you to task on that. Like, they're going to ask you, well, what the heck is K-fold? Right? And if they're asking you what is K-fold, you've already made them feel dumb, right? So be careful with that. Be careful with that. Anybody else want to take a shot at cross-validation or, you know, telling us about their drone experience? Because I order plenty from, you know, Walmart or things like that, but never gotten a drone delivery. Neo says it's easier to be on the road. It's easier to be on the road. I don't know about that, Neo. I don't know about that. I think it's easier. Well, I guess it depends on how you define easier. Because from a business perspective, the drone makes sense because you're eliminating traffic, you're eliminating gas costs, and you're eliminating the human, right? Humans are expensive, right? Humans are usually the most expensive part of any business. So there's 100% upside to using delivery drones. But there must be technology reasons why they're not currently available, right? Like, why are they not ubiquitous? Like, our skies should be filled with drones, right? Like, you know how many orders Walmart and Amazon have to deliver on a daily basis? Like, pick any neighborhood in any part of the world, right? Not just the US, any part of the world. I mean, there's like thousands and thousands of packages, right? The Neverworld says, I think it's because drones can only do one delivery at a time. Yeah, but they're a lot faster though, right? So, well, one, you can have a lot more drones. You can probably have a lot more trucks, right? And two, they can do them a lot faster Because the one or two YouTube videos I've seen about drone delivery, like they're getting it in minutes, like 15 minutes after they order, it's at their house, right? You can't have a truck at your house 15 minutes, right? So the drones can go back and forth faster in theory, right? So I don't think it's because of just the one at a time. It's got to be something else. So Manoj says the number of folds we do on the data set. Manoj, my friend, it was a rhetorical question. You weren't supposed to. You weren't supposed to answer that. What I'm saying is, if they ask you what is K-fold, you're done. You're cooked, right? If your audience is asking you what is K-fold, stop. Do not answer them, because now you're just digging yourself a deeper hole, right? That's what I'm talking about, guys. See, that's the social cue where you got to stop and say, okay, you know what? I didn't explain that right. Let me try that again. But you don't go and answer their question. You're just digging a deeper hole when you do that, right? So be careful with that. Be careful with that. Understanding that subtlety and how to read your audience, that's part of soft skills, right? So I was asking that rhetorically, Manoj, right? Like if you hear them say, well, what is K-fold? You should immediately recognize that as a sign to stop and reset, not to answer the question. Right? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. All right. Well, look, nobody in the chat has said, hey, I got a drone delivery just last week. So Neo, I think you're on to something. I think maybe there could be some collision detection issues, or maybe there needs to be some sort of like a radar issue or something. But where's the drones? Neo says maybe noise and safety. Maybe. But the safety comes back to the same thing, right? Maybe there's problems with collision or working in sync with each other, right? Or some sort of traffic pattern that would need to be followed. My point being is that there's probably more technology obstacles to it than the companies themselves are willing to acknowledge, right? Like here's another one, and maybe this relates to drones. You can tell me, guys. But one of the things, you guys know that I'm not a big fan of robots, the humanoid robots. One of the things that most people don't realize is how short of a battery life those humanoid-like robots have. Like some of those robots only have a battery life of like an hour or two, right? It's very hard to come up with a battery pack that, you know, is quick to charge. It's lightweight because the humanoid now has to carry that battery pack, right? That's also safe, right? Lithium batteries can be prone to some very ugly incidents, right? So people don't realize that, right? People don't realize how short battery life those humanoid robots have, right? A lot of the stuff that's out there on social media is just marketing crap, right? So maybe there's a battery life issue there with the drones too, right? You have to recharge them at some point. So maybe they can do more of those back and forth like I was talking about, but maybe they can't do that and still stay charged, right? So maybe that's another thing. I don't know. At that point, I'm just presenting my own hypothesis. But where's the drones, man? Like, we should, like, even on a small scale trial basis for something like Amazon, all of us should be seeing at least like 1 or 2 delivery drones in the sky on a daily basis, right? Like that would be a small test for Amazon, right? Like if you just driving around or walking around your neighborhood once or twice a day, you would see a drone going back and forth. Like that's a small scale, like proof of concept for Amazon. But I don't think we even see that, right? So nobody else in the chat has talked about drones. So I'm going to go ahead and say that nobody else here has seen one. So I think that's weird. I think that's weird and telling. All right, guys. So I want to thank you all for joining. I think this is a good point for us to wrap up. Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, I'm here. I'm streaming 1500 GMT. It's the same time you logged in today. Come back tomorrow and Saturday. We'll talk about more about the data science school. And then on Sunday, we'll continue the neural network series. Going to continue having fun with that. Sunday was a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and keep on doing that. But until then, guys, as always, we live in such a dynamic world. I worry about all of you guys. I know that I have viewers both in Pakistan and in India. So please, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you guys next time.